That's quite the thing to start off on, Andrew just snapping. So welcome to the fourth edition of the stream. I am again back as the host after 2 weeks ago missing, and or 2 weeks ago being in a different state. Last week missing altogether. Um, but yeah, we are back, and this time we are the title "Conspiracies and Mysteries." We're going to be talking about hopefully some interesting stuff. If you're looking at the video version of this podcast, Felix or Lazy has decided to just blankly stare into the camera very ominously. So, uh, but yeah, so welcome to our fourth edition, the first month now being completed after this one, and welcome everyone for stopping by. I'm gonna start this off. What is a conspiracy y'all actually believe in? Which one are you talking about? Oh, hold on. Give me one moment. My audio, I'm gonna have to reset.
Oh,
No, you
Oof.
guys.
oh,
Wait, say something right.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
the FBI killed Martin Luther King.
Hold on. We're gonna backtrack a little bit. We're gonna restart this because I don't think the audio was picking you up for a little bit.
Oh,
Huh?
what?
So
Wait, what?
we're gonna
No
start
audio
over.
for me?
That was weird.
Did it just like start as you were testing it?
I hear audio.
Yeah, it just started as I started.
Oh.
Um, so we're gonna backtrack that.
So the first thing everybody heard me say was,
Nope. All right, I'm gonna count us off again. We're gonna go again. Welcome to the technical issue. Happens occasionally. All right,
Well,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome back for the fourth installment of the Incompetent Gamers podcast. And I'm back as the host after missing last week and Felix. And 2 weeks ago, second podcast, I actually was in a different state, which also Felix is deciding to flex in a very contorted way right now. If you're looking, um, but yeah, today the topic is conspiracies and mysteries. So we're gonna talk about some
mm,
pretty cool stuff. And my first question for these guys are: what are some conspiracies you believe are true, or what are conspiracies that have been proven to be? Which one? Like, what are some that you know are real, and what are some you think are?
no, the MLK one was real. There was like conspiracy for a while, but like a lot of people also just didn't realize like the court case that happened. It wasn't like it didn't either it wasn't that public or like somebody really tried to make it not public.
What, that the FBI killed Martin Luther King?
Yeah, they had it they had it pretty much proved. It had the court say, yeah, they did it, and like the King family just got like only $100 because they literally didn't care about the money. They were just like, we just want everybody to know that the government was in on a plot to kill my boy, and then they won the case.
no wonder the JFK family has so much money now.
What the J? No. What?
The MLK,
I know,
MLK.
I know. The joke was that the JFK family did not prove that. That's why they have so much money because they were paid off. Never mind.
Okay.
It went over everybody's head.
No, it made sense. I just wasn't thinking about. I don't know. I was just like,
No
I was like,
worries.
that's not the assignment.
No, but speaking of that, though, the JFK assassin. How many of you think there was actually like a conspiracy by either within the government or say like Lyndon B. Johnson office and all that?
I'm just
Uh,
gonna say
ah,
honestly, it realistically it could be either one. Like how many times
yeah,
have people just fucking snapped and done something insane? And how many times has the government done shit and then 30 years
Yeah.
later they finally tell us what the fuck they did?
Yeah.
I mean, hell, we're already having that. I mean, some people have that question right now. Like,
Yeah.
just about shit that happens in everyday life.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
like,
I still
I
think
don't know.
I think it's insane if you actually take like I'm not very much into conspiracy. I mean I understand our government does a lot of secretive crap that can that's very like indicative because they have to do some secretive crap, but sometimes it steps some lines where it kind of gets into that conspiracy realm. But like
Bro,
if
they
you
overstep the line so much.
oh of course, but if you like look into the JFK specifically,
Mhm.
um everything that could have been done wrong was done wrong. They had him in an open air vehicle going slow on open roads on a path that they didn't scout at all.
Too many
I think
coincidences.
yeah, they scouted
Yeah.
I think they scouted a completely different path or they didn't scout the right one. They had like a detour or something. What was it? Um it was all these different like things. Just like there's so many instances where you basically just had this guy out in the open saying, "Hey, just shoot him."
A
And
lot of
then
people sorry.
no, it's just like and then all of a sudden this one crazy marine sniper, like a marine sniper. That's that's a little interesting why like yeah,
Yeah.
he was an ex-marine sniper who had apparently ties to where they're trying to claim he had like ties to the Russians or something. Um
I think the Russians were always a great excuse around that time
yeah,
frame, though.
exactly. Yeah, I was like, oh, he was a Soviet sympathizer or something. But it's like
You're a spy.
no, yeah, that's so many instances of like of just coincidence and misstep. Um
Mhm.
so it's just I don't know. Plus like
Okay, something weird I just realized I was looking into real quick just to double check some information. If you look up who assassinated JFK, it doesn't even tell you until you like the headline doesn't even tell you until you get to page like 2 on Google.
Hmm.
what, Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yeah,
Oh man. I mean it's so common knowledge nowadays. I feel like they don't
it
have to
is.
keep saying it like that.
But I mean, for somebody who didn't know, like all they're met with is 7 different articles about JFK, then 3 about the assassination of JFK, and then next page it's like, oh hey, Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. What's like just go down the line. What are some conspiracies you guys think are real? Or like conspiracy can just mean like doesn't necessarily mean it's our government or the world. It could be aliens, Bigfoot, like
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. Where it's like there's things like where
It's
people
funny
are
you
like, "Oh
actually
my
bring up
god, I've
Bigfoot.
seen that stuff." I that thing's like it's like, "All right, now you're not telling the truth." And then it's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
but
Right.
it could be." It's like all that shit. So what's
So
something like you guys think about?
I want to start by just saying I didn't even actually start thinking about conspiracy theories realistically until I was like 17 because of the Edward Snowden thing. I
Hmm.
didn't even know that was a thing up until then. And something I've noticed every year, kind of off topic, but also not every year in Montana. I don't remember. I think it's around near the end of summer. Every year, hundreds of people gather together here to look for Bigfoot. Like in just 2 cities, not even
Interesting.
cities, 2 towns away from me, you'll always see all these fucking cars just in this one big ass parking lot with a bunch of fucking Bigfoot exists and shit stickers on them.
Do you all believe in Bigfoot?
No, but I'm not
I
gonna
think
lie, that
anything's
sounds like
possible.
it could be fun.
I
Yeah.
mean, over in Oregon, it's also very prominent because we are like mostly forest. I'm sure same thing with you, Ken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Oregon and Washington, like we are known for our like Bigfoot and Sasquatch stuff, and it probably runs off into Montana a bit because we are the northwest area, like
There's
the
even
north.
some stretching into California.
Really, I haven't heard California being that much of a Bigfoot area, but I know definitely the Pacific Northwest, and it kind of moves a little more inward, towards the country is a huge like Sasquatch,
Yeah.
but that's mainly because like half of our tribes or half of our like or even like three-fourths of our native populations in this area all have different stories
Mhm.
of big hairy men, like these brute, like hairy men who go around the forest. Either they're spirituals or they're monsters, like these different interpretations. So it's like our native population have been having this story forever. People still claim to see it, um, and it's only kind of in our area. It kind of does move towards other um states, but we have the huge lush forests, and everyone always kind of comes over here and is like, "Oh, I've seen a Bigfoot, I've seen a
Yeah.
Sasquatch, I've seen all that stuff."
So I don't necessarily believe in Bigfoot, but I 100% believe there's a possibility for anything. And if evidence were to come, like concrete evidence were to come through someday of there being a Bigfoot, I'd 100% believe it at that point.
Everything's possible.
Yeah,
Kind of
exactly.
how realistic is it?
That's
Question.
kind of how I look at all conspiracy theories for the most part, to be completely honest, no matter what it is. Like for the most part, at least, like anything's possible.
Do you believe in? Do you guys believe that the aliens helped build the pyramids?
I think that's a bit of a
Mm,
stretch.
yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, how do you get? I don't care how many slaves you got. Those were some big ass stones,
No, they
and
definitely
like
were.
So Egyptians actually
always
did have some
nuts.
pretty good technology and different ways of momentum that they have proven could be of use, but it still may have taken longer than.
Could
Um,
have.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the same
there's
people who say that aliens built the pyramids are the same people that think the Earth is just one flat disk floating in space.
not necessarily actually.
flat earthers, man. Those motherfuckers.
I mean, have you been on the History Channel? There's some pretty smart
And
motherfuckers that think that pyramids were built by ancient aliens.
Oh my God! Don't say that. Ancient alien theorists believe. Oh my God!
Ancient
My
aliens. I
mother.
know
My
exactly what
mother.
you're talking about.
I mean, I don't use this term very often, but my mom is a sheep.
Oh yeah,
She watches the History Channel. She'll watch like all that, the Discovery Channel, and all these conspiracy channel, like all these like TV shows, and they'll say this like really like impactful conspiracy with all these great quote unquote points um and facts, and they'll do it in this really fun to watch way. Like it's fun to watch that
Mhm.
show, but then she's like, "That's a fact now." I'm like, stop. It's
I
not a
will
yeah,
fact.
say
The Nazis didn't build a time traveling bell. Um,
they
they might
did
be an
try. They did try,
no,
but
I mean, yeah, but that's just Hitler's like fanatical look
yeah,
into the gods, you know? Like,
yeah,
I
exactly.
I could like basically like Hydra did with like in Marvel. Oh, I
He
can tame
wanted
the
to try to
power
do
of
as
the
much as
gods. It's like,
possible.
no,
Yeah.
man, you're just a crazy guy who's putting your scientists to work,
They
giving them busy
definitely
work.
tried that shit. Did they
Oh,
succeed? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, they might have gone to Argentina because there are German settlements and heritage down there with a
Yeah,
lot of people finding Nazi like badges and medals, but I don't think that the
right.
Nazis are in the future or in a base in Antarctica or on the moon. Like everyone, like what? The
I will
big bad
say
guy's
though,
gone.
yeah, I will say though, I 100% believe, while I don't believe that aliens have had any like part in building our civilization, I do 100% believe that they do exist and at least one form of advanced civilization has come and looked at us and be like, "Oh, these guys are fucking stupid monkeys," and they left.
yeah, they have already seen us,
Like they probably
and
spent
they're
a
like,
couple hundred years
no.
studying us, and they were like, "Yeah, this is pointless. Let's leave," and just booked it.
Yeah,
And I'm sure that's where a lot of stories from ancient civilizations of like skinwalkers and stuff like that could have come from. Like that's just my personal belief, to be completely honest.
I can see it. I mean, I don't think that if they ever were here, they're still here
No,
because
absolutely not.
only because like every bit of evidence anyone's ever had is either a 2-bit goddamn video
Hmm.
or some crazy guy who just
Yeah.
got cracked out on meth, got abducted and probed up his ass.
I will say
Why
with
Like
the
meth?
two
Why
bit,
not bath salts?
why not bath salt? No,
I
it's
will say
just
with the 2-bit videos though, I mean like people are always saying, "Oh, they have such a camera, that's why it's bad." Radio frequencies do fuck with camera quality a lot. That
yeah,
is
but
something people don't always think about.
I get that. It's just
Who says that
it's
aliens are
always
using
so bad.
radio?
Anything can emit a frequency.
It's just so bad. Like it's
Hmm.
always it's a very janky video. There's always never a really good reason why they've started recording. Like it's always like somehow it's in the corner of the video and it flashes by really
Right.
quickly. It's like, why were you recording in the first place?
Like the
Or
spaceman
Yeah.
yeah,
with
it's
the
like,
little girl with the spaceman behind her.
oh, that picture.
That picture, yeah, that old ass picture. I think it was from like 70, 60 something.
I mean, that one could easily be faked.
Oh yeah,
Like
no, that's what I'm
you literally
saying.
just have someone stand there.
Well, back then, even in that time, ghosting images was really easy. You have someone stand there for half a second and then fucking run. And if you do it correctly, it'll look like they're just standing still, but all like just faded away.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
I
just
mean, I still think it is kind of funny though how so many like pictures of outer space and other like actual official pictures and stuff like that, even if you go out there and take a photo of yourself like out there and record the sky, it's not that bad. It's like
Right.
most day phones, if you're out there just casually recording the skies, I mean, it's most likely going to be on a decent recording platform, but some of them just look like they're recorded with someone's makeshift potato.
yeah,
Like I said though, frequencies do play a big part of that. Like so, one of the things that happened with the Edward Snowden thing when he leaked so much information and he was doing that whistleblower shit, some of the people that worked with him, they had such low quality footage, regardless of there still being some 1080p cameras and stuff like that, because of radio jammers and stuff like that fucking with the cameras.
Hmm.
Mm.
yeah.
I
But
don't
I
know.
mean, with how many of those? Oh, look at this UFO video. Look at
No,
this
yeah,
video. It's like
no,
with
I'm not
how the
like,
sheer amount of them,
yeah,
and none of them can be high definition. And when they are high definition, they look like Photoshop or not Photoshop, but like the video renders and video
right.
editings. It's like it that like I can see the clip art in
Hmm.
that thing. Like, come on, man, you could have done slightly better. The physics don't match up. I mean, obviously, if it's a spaceship or a UFO, the physics might not
Right.
look right, but I mean, it's still gotta look real.
Real.
Make it believable in a little bit of like some sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
HD photos, though, have you guys seen the recent photos from NASA?
No, which ones?
Yeah, that's what I'm
From
saying. They
that
have
NASA
like
released some
amazing high
new,
resolution
satellite.
photos, but they
yeah,
can't
the
record
new
a sky
satellite
in space
photos.
that glows
Oh,
and
is that from
stuff.
the new telescope that they put
Yep,
out that replaced
you
the
should
Yeah.
Hubble?
look it up. There, it's fucking gorgeous.
I'll
It actually
definitely
is
yeah,
really pretty.
definitely do that. Yeah, I saw this really cool creepypasta that was posted
Oh, yeah.
where they were talking about how since this new telescope has been existed that they've been taking photos of space like it was like from a NASA employee quote unquote. It
Yeah.
was that they were taking photos of outer space. And they a couple years ago with the Hubble, they noticed that there was a star that just blinked out of existence without a
Oh
supernova or
yeah, I
anything.
know that one. It's not a creepypasta, it is a theory though.
And well, I mean, I think it's a creepy. I don't think it's. But if it is real, then we'll it'll
No, I
come
mean
out.
it is an actual conspiracy theory, not a
Oh,
creepypasta.
really?
Creepypastas are stories that are created for people to read and are supposed to be fake.
Yes, but I mean that creepypastas turn into conspiracies all the time because people
Yeah.
misinterpret them as being
That
real,
is true.
Yeah.
like
That is
Slenderman.
true. I don't know. We'd
Oh,
have to find out
Slender.
the origin of the post wherever it was.
Yeah. Well, basically, what the thing was is that they were taking like before they claimed that it was active, they were taking photos of what they like already knew was an area
Right.
where this like stars are blinking out of existence, and that now with this newer telescope, they were able to calculate that it was coming closer. Whatever was causing these stars to blink out of
It's
existence
getting
was
closer,
getting
yeah.
closer,
Yeah, I
causing
know the
more
story. It
stars
was
to
a
go out of existence.
good story.
Um, and that there was these long tendrils that were going between the star.
Hmm.
So they initially thought it like quote unquote they initially thought it was a Dyson sphere, which was an
Mhm.
indicator of a huge a powerful species. But then
Very.
it started to go further and further, and these tendrils were over light years long. And it was
Mhm.
this really whole thing. I'm like, I mean, it's a cool story, but I don't think that
They do
there's
have
a giant squid
footage,
monster sucking up stars heading our way.
right?
Yeah.
They do have footage, I believe, of stars not disappearing, but like kind of being covered by black holes a bit before coming back out.
Oh, I bet. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't believe.
That does bring another conspiracy theory up though that I just remembered. So I wouldn't go on the level of they're hiding aliens and shit from us, but do you think that there are things that NASA has taken photos or footage of that they have hidden from us?
Mm,
They've like edited out. I think it's a possibility.
I mean, probably.
maybe, but
Because
I'm
there are
not
things that
sure.
happen all the time that, and NASA is government funded, that the government thinks, oh, they're not ready for. Let's wait to, bring it out to civilization.
I mean, they probably have had a couple of unidentified things where they've cut it because they probably can't even decipher what
Right.
it is, and the last thing you want to do is publicly source this information that might cause mass hysteria.
Exactly.
Even if you don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I doubt. I mean, everyone always treats like government entities as being these benevolent motherfuckers that know, oh yeah, we have these trade deals with aliens and
Right.
all these different things. Like,
Definitely
no,
not that.
it's just a bunch of nerds in a room who saw a photo like that looks weird. We don't know what that
Mhm.
is. Don't put that out there because people are gonna start to freak out and say we're
Yep.
hiding aliens or we're showing aliens and like all this stuff. It's like, I mean, it's better because then everyone freaks out like, oh, NASA's this big thing. Take down NASA. Oh my God, big scary entity. Take government. Like
Pro
everyone freaks
tip,
out
just
nowadays. So,
Oh,
pro
the
tip,
recent.
just
Oh,
don't trust your government.
yeah.
well,
I mean,
yeah, of
I don't
course, don't
personally.
trust them, but I mean, you don't have to always think that they're always some big bad
Right.
wolf who's always got every answer to everything. I mean, we know how bad the government is at doing anything. You expect them to
Very.
be these really benevolent
Oh yeah.
motherfuckers. Like,
Right.
go to any government institution and ask them to do something, and it takes millions of lines of paperwork, and you expect them to be efficient enough to do some of these things that people
Right.
claim. It's like, come on,
One thing I will
Mhm.
say too is, you guys know how someone blew up the Georgia Guidestones?
Georgia guy.
I heard about
You don't
that.
know about that?
What's no? Explain that.
So in Georgia, there's these three large, very large granite stones. You should Google this while I'm talking to you about it. So there's these three very large stones that basically, if civilization were to go under in any sort of way, are
Oh yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
be,
yeah.
a guide to bringing back civilization, keeping it at a healthy population so we don't get overpopulated again, and a bunch of other different rules. And it's in so many different languages. Someone completely blew up one of the stones, and
Oh,
a whole thing that people are going around saying now after that, like any post I look at for it or anything like that, the top comments I see multiple times is always "fuck the new world order."
People are
So
dumb. I mean, the whole point of it seems like a way to help rebuild society in the case of an issue. And
right,
someone's like, "Let me bomb this
yeah,
because
they think it was built by a new world order, and now people are like, "Oh yeah, fuck the new world order." They don't get to dictate how we blah 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 blah
holy.
blah. Yeah,
what?
it's destroyed.
Yeah, I see the video. Like the explosion, it just got,
It wasn't just
it's
some regular
gone.
fucking explosion. Yeah, it's destroyed.
Yeah, it says permanently closed."
There are a
Yeah.
lot of people who also think, maybe the town of Georgia did that. So and there's a few reasons for it. One, it's been a belief for a while that the town of Georgia, so the story is nobody knows who paid for it because it was apparently paid for privately and built, and nobody knows who did it, except for one person who I think has dementia or is dead now. I don't remember the whole story behind that, but um, they believe that the town of Georgia actually, or of whatever town that is in Georgia, did that so they could finally get some tourist attraction to get some money, and then they blew it up to make an even bigger deal about it.
That seems so far fetched.
I mean,
Right.
Why the hell would you blow up a stone?
I mean,
If unless you had a screw loose, why would you want to blow up a rock?
Right.
That like
yeah.
you're not killing anybody, you're not creating any like huge like financial loss for anyone. You're just blowing up a rock. Like
I mean, would that be considered domestic terrorism?
I think I personally, I think it should,
Because
because it is.
it's
if it's
politically
since
motivated.
it's since if it's politically motivated or since it kind of counts as like a monument, then
I think it
maybe.
should be, but it is not currently being investigated as such.
Um,
Honestly, it'd have to depend on the motive. It's just like, why'd you do that? It's just like,
That's the thing, they don't know who it was. All they know is a car fled the scene afterwards, but they have no video of the person. They have video of the explosion. They don't know. They haven't seen the person. Like the body of the whoever was there is not on camera anywhere.
Hmm.
good, good
oh
government.
man.
So that's a pretty new conspiracy theory I just remembered. That's honestly insane. I think.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
hear about
heard
that.
about them, but I knew nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew. I forgot. Like, I didn't know where those stones were, but I definitely knew about the stones that were meant to
Right.
be like the rebuild. Like, hey, this is how you should.
Yeah.
I didn't know they got
Which I mean,
blown
it's not
up.
super unreasonable. Like I think it was keep the population under like 5 million or something like that for things to thrive properly. I mean, that's not totally unreasonable.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, if we get into a state, the world gets into ever a state of which those are actually required, I think the population is below 5 million at that point.
Well, yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I
They're
mean,
just saying like keep it there, don't let it go
yeah,
past it. It's like that's why people are so like, oh, New World Order black because they're like dictate who can and can't breed or who lives and dies kind of thing, you know?
I mean, I mean, let's be real. If we get past the point of this is not an argument for eugenics or that, but if we get to the point where we nuke ourselves back to the fucking dark ages
Yeah.
and the whole population is below that 5 million mark, I think we've proven that too many of us is an issue.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't care who is the ones who are picked to die, or if that ever gets to a point where they like have to population control, but like make it a random lottery that is
Hmm.
possible to be for corruption, and
Nothing's impossible for corruption.
nothing's
I'm just gonna go
impossible for
outright and say
no,
that now.
nothing's impossible for corruption, but as you can hopefully make it as impossible for corruption.
Right.
Um, and I mean, you just or you just gotta hope that you don't do it again. But that's just
Yeah.
human nature. History repeats itself. So
I think it's bound
we'll
to
just,
happen soon. The whole us nuking ourselves, as pessimistic as it may sound, I think we're already on the track for, because we're way past the point of no return right now, population
Mhm.
wise. I
But
mean,
yeah, the carrying capacity.
yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully it doesn't happen in my lifetime.
Right.
And hopefully, if it does, the world has done it. I
Right.
mean,
I'm not scared to die.
I'm not scared to die necessarily. I just don't want to be alone with it. You know what
Right.
I mean? If the world goes to shit, at least I
Like,
have the comfort of
oh,
knowing I'm not the only one that got
there's a
nuked.
big flash in the sky while I sit here, got my dick in my hand and a mess all over my stomach. This is depressing.
It's just like I don't know.
Jeez.
This got really dark. Let's go to a trivia real quick.
Yeah, let's go to trivia
Let's
real
go to a
quick.
trivia real
I'm
quick.
fine with that.
Okay.
Jesus. All right. First one we have for trivia. When was Oh, this is the wrong fucking Okay, hold on.
Motherfucker.
That was Let me back this up real quick. That is the wrong thing. We're gonna move on real
Busted.
um that one.
I like that gift, Andrew.
All right. What secret society has been found in many powerful positions since the 18th century? Number one, the Knights
Oh,
Templar. Two, the Freemasons. Three, the Illuminati.
18th century.
18th century. So yeah, we have Knights
Freemasons.
Templars, the Freemasons, the Illuminati.
Knights Templar has been around longer as the Freemasons.
They've existed for a while, but their prominency or their amount of power or peoples with their group at this time is when they began to grow like their power.
Let's say Illuminati.
Here we have Illuminati, and Freemasons. Dave, do you have any idea?
I don't. He's.
Oh, Dave died.
That maybe we're getting nuked.
I think Dave died. Yep, there it goes. There's the first one. He's EMPing the signal.
Oh man.
No,
All right.
no communications go out first.
Well,
Yep.
Dave seems to be stepped away for a second, so we'll move on to see what the answer is. The answer: the Freemasons.
Yeah, I thought
Oh,
The
so.
prominent I don't know if y'all know how many Freemasons there are,
There are a lot of
but
temples.
prominent Freemason figures, which by the way, apparently it's not confirmed, but it's theorized that the Freemasons are a distant like distinction of the Templars.
Hmm.
That there's connections doesn't necessarily mean they're entirely true. 'Cause I think the Templars, to an extent, are still not active, but they have
They're
their own
active.
little
You
they
can
have their
still
own
you can
little
still
group.
join the Knight Templar.
It's
Same
just
with the
not yeah.
Freemasons.
They're definitely not in their height of power. Like the Knights
Yeah.
Templar used to be like little knight bankers of the church.
Right. Well, they ruled the
But
world almost, basically.
yeah, well, I mean that's what religion did in the back in the day. But prominent Freemason figures include Henry Ford, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, FDR, Buzz Aldrin, Mozart, Colonel Sanders, Count Basie, Lewis and Clark, and many more individuals you've known from history, art, politics, everywhere. They've been in many different positions. Many founding
Oh man.
fathers of America, politicians. Um, the U.S., across the European area. There's
Yeah.
just quite a bit.
So fun fact, one sec.
Hands really
Fucking
sneezing.
nostril. Anyway, yeah. Fun fact about the Freemasons. So, if you go on any temple's website, you are so their rules to joining is as long as you are.
Go
Oh, he
on.
got a shit. I just read general, and he's got a shit. That's where he went.
I did go
Um.
there.
Oh, he's back. Um. So, the only requirements to join the Freemasons is that you believe in a higher power. Doesn't matter as long as you're 21 and believe in a higher power. It doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. It doesn't matter what you do for a job. It doesn't matter a lot of your other beliefs. As long as you believe you are a strong man who believes in a higher power, you are supposed to be able to join the Freemasons. And as soon as I turned 21, I was curious about it. So reached out to them a few times because I was like, okay, how true is this? And 3 emails, they never got back to me.
Damn. Well, I definitely know because my grandfather was a Freemason.
I've been
Oh,
to one of their like meetings or something before, I think.
It's
If I remember correctly.
it's a
maybe
Like
like a group, maybe
when I
like a
was
public gathering, but I don't think you've been to one of their meetings.
I'm not sure. Like one of my dad's friends was one and we went to something, they were like
Were they in
they,
robes?
I'm not I don't I think they were all in suits, actually.
So they actually do have and it's not like supposed to be anything super creepy or anything like that, but they do have ceremonial robes that they wear during stuff like that.
Yeah.
um my
Uh,
grandfather was a
yeah, I don't know.
Freemason. He had a ring
Mm-hmm.
that
Oh, yep.
distinguished what position he was.
Yep. It's always on your ring
Um,
finger. I think your right ring finger.
and I don't, but all I know is that apparently it's a lot easier to become a Freemason if you're grandfathered in. You have an older, like a relative,
Yep.
someone. But yeah, all you have to do is be religious. Because you have to, as like your initiation, you have to swear on a religious text, to your higher power. Doesn't matter which one it is, the Quran, Bible, whatever religious text you believe in, have to swear on it that you are for the cause.
You have to prove
Um,
that you're a man of good faith.
yeah.
Can I actually ask? I've heard of the Freemasons, but I know nothing of what they are and what their job is.
So the
Jeez.
Freemasons, if I remember correctly, are just they were a quote unquote secret society for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where they just were a very noble group. Like not by noble, I mean like they're great people. Like they were a bunch of nobles,
They have
very
had their hands in politics a
rich.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely have they do a lot of self-interest stuff. At least they used to. Nowadays I think they try and, I mean, it's still very self-interest. They kind of work with each other in their community.
Mm.
But a lot of it is like how most societies turn into, which is like the whole like, oh, the Freemasons of your local temple or whatever are now doing a barbecue for the community kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing. It's
Yep.
and there's probably they have probably some things they do in the background of some
Absolutely.
stuff, but
Oh yeah.
otherwise for the most part it's like it's kind of been watered down, I would say, in the modern era. 'Cause it's no
Mm-hmm.
longer like, oh, I'm a part of this secret society. It's like sound like a Dungeons and Dragons nerd in the basement. Like I'm the Grand
Hey.
Wizard of the of like the. It's like
Don't say Grand Wizard.
Don't say
I
Grand
know,
Wizard.
I know. But they always all these societies always have these big long names. I'm all that crap. I know the Grand
Anything
Wizard's
with
the KKK, but I mean
that's Grand
it's
Dragon, but still,
no.
like
There's the Grand
that's
Oh,
Wizard.
that's
it's
Grand
Grand
Wizard.
Dragon.
No, it's Grand Wizard.
Trust me,
There
it's
is both.
Grand Dragon.
There's both. Um,
You guys know my family's history. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure
The
by
Grand
Oh
now.
Wizard was the
shit,
head of the
right.
Reconstruction era Ku Klux Klan, which was founded in 1865. So yeah, here, hold on. There is also the Grand Dragon. Grand Dragon meaning an officer or superior rank in the Ku Klux Klan hierarchy. Leader title of the
Grand Wizard
KKK.
or Imperial Wizard.
It's some really stupidly long thing. is the is it the Supreme Grand Wizard? I
I
think
don't know.
the president.
It's
Um,
something stupid.
it's they there was one like the Grand Dragon Wizard or something or something. It's like there's these. I mean,
The super ultra mega grand mega
I'm gonna
wizard
make fun of
super
a
dragon.
racist group right now.
Limited edition.
If
Fuck
you're like
racism,
if
bro.
you're like heavily into
Racism?
yeah, if you know if you're like a huge racist and you're a part of this group and you think it's really cool to call yourself the Grand Dragon,
Yeah.
I mean, you are just a fucking idiot. So that's my 2 cents. You are just an idiot. Like, I am so cool. I'm gonna go lynch black people
Wow.
as I call myself the Grand Wizard Dragon Master. I'm like, dude, shut up.
How am I be Kung Fu Panda?
Everybody
That's
was
a
Kung
clip.
Fu Panda.
God, just
Yeah, it's kind
cease
of
existing,
ridiculous.
please. All right. Back to conspiracies and mystery.
I mean, that is conspiracy.
Oh
but
yeah, the Ku Klux
Kinda,
Klan
one.
is
yeah.
horrific.
Different kind of one.
Fuck those
I was
guys.
actually gonna bounce similar on the topic of creepypastas, though, since they're similar, like a mystery or like a conspiracy, like idea, theory, da da da. Have you guys ever personally have seen anything along those lines, or like felt like you might have like interacted with something from there, or had a dream of it or something? Because I actually have
Of what?
before I even knew about them,
What?
about like SCP, not SCPs,
Like monsters
creepypastas.
and okay.
Yeah, things like
I have
Slenderman, the Rake, Mothman, stuff like that.
Oh,
I've
I
seen a
remember you
thing or
telling me about
two.
this, Andrew.
Yeah,
I know what you're about to tell everyone. You've told me this before.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I've got some ghost stories.
I did too.
Yeah,
Well, I have
same.
one.
I don't know if I want. Should we get into ghost stories? I feel like ghost stories can be their own kind of thing.
I mean, it's
Probably.
a mystery. It's
I
kind of a
know.
theory. Some people don't believe it. Some people do. You know.
Okay, well, how about we don't go too deep into stories, but how about have you guys like do you guys believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
I believe in a pretty strong potential for it, to be completely honest, and that's because of one. I've only had one encounter, and I think it's the only one I need because I was like 10 or 12, somewhere between 10 and 12 and I was staying the night at a buddy's. His dad just got a new house. Not his new dad. His dad just got a new house. He didn't quite have beds yet, but we were spending the night there, so we were sleeping on the floor under blankets. And I rolled over, and in the middle of the night, I woke up and I rolled over and I saw my buddy. Fell back asleep. I rolled back onto my back, and there was this fucking chick. And like, no shit, I swear there was a chick in a white dress just floating above me, and I was fucking freaking out. So I turned to the side again, closed my eyes really fucking hard, passed back out. When I opened them again, she was sitting right on the other side of my buddy, and then I just passed the fuck back out again.
You just. Oh.
I mean, as a kid, what are you gonna do except for pretend to be asleep until you fall asleep with that shit?
Honestly, like, oh, there's a
Just,
woman in my bed.
Bro, you see that now, you're like, bro, really? No way.
No way. You coming with me?
You get bonked.
You getting it? Wait, why are you covered in blood? This is a crazy bit.
Oh, this is a crazy one.
Wildin'.
No, I've also kind of came across something I'd probably quote as a ghost, mainly because my mom used to live in the same house that this happened in. And in the same room that it happened in, she as a kid was once playing with the Ouija board as a kid with her
Oh,
other friends. And supposedly they kept doing it for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour or so, and nothing really happened. And so they thought it was junk. So without doing anything that they, like the other quote unquote, like, oh, you didn't say goodbye or blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
they just tossed it in the trash. And it wasn't until like a day or two later, apparently started seeing like weird things like moving around in that room, and like creepy things started happening to her. And then that was like when she was a kid, long ago. Never really lived there since until again recently when I was a kid, and that was my room growing up. And all I can say is I always had nightmares in that room. There's points where I literally just wanted to sleep into the living room just to avoid them. But also in that same room, one day I was like literally just walking down, and there's like a long hallway between the two doors. Like there's multiple doors. There's one to the bathroom, the bedroom, other bedroom, and then the living room exits out. and I'm walking through that hall and to go to my room, and as I'm right about to enter my room, there was a breeze, like a very chilling cold breeze coming from the bathroom area, like in that hallway towards nearing the bathroom. There's no vents, there's no windows, there was no nothing in the bathroom or in the hall ever anywhere. And a chill breeze kind of came off like from my right side to my left.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say like a chill breeze, it didn't feel like a breeze that would just kind of float over you. I literally felt it kind of feel like it went through, if you know what I
Hmm.
mean. Like
Yeah.
I felt cold inwards, cold, like not like a shiver, like where it would kind of like go down your spine like that.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was a perfect right to left, like across the body, and it
Wild.
freaked me the
Wild.
fuck out as a kid. I remember I stopped, I dropped, then I got chills, and then I just sprinted to my parents' room screaming.
I mean,
I was
we
like
not
probably like 7 o'clock or 7 that time. So
are we just telling ghost stories now? Because I got a couple.
no, you're right, dude.
Because I mean, I can like this. I've It's been a long time since I've seen anything, and
Same.
I'm a huge skeptic to the point. I've always been a skeptic.
Oh yeah.
When I was even when I was experiencing this was like a good chunk of my life. And I still would like laugh it off.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd
Mhm.
look at it and be like, "You're not real," and I'd go back to doing what I was doing. Like that's how bad it was. I tell some of these stories, and everyone always is like looks at me who believe like people who are adamant that like ghosts and demons and all this stuff is real. And I tell them
Mm-hmm.
these stories, and I get the whole sideways look
You'd be
of
like,
how do you not believe
yeah.
if you're telling me that you've experienced this? Like, like my dad. Okay, I'm gonna explain something real quick. If you're on the video version, this will be easy. But my desk right here always been in this position,
Mm-hmm.
and my door is this way on my left hand. My back right is my bed. Always been in this corner. Um, and the reason for that is because I was always a paranormal kid, or not paranoid, a paranoid kid who would sit in the corner, who would have his bed in the far corner. So if anyone
Right.
broke into the room, I would have my feet towards them, and I could kick them away or anything like that. Because I always was a paranoid kid. Um, but one of my most prominent stories is when I was sleeping one night in that bed behind me. My door is on the opposite end of the room, and I just got off from gaming. I've been doing that my whole life. But it was on my crappy computer, so I can only play things like Club Penguin and Aries Mod,
Mm-hmm. Kind
things
of.
like that. Like it was like always the low key kind of garbage that
Yeah.
would barely run.
Oh
And
yeah.
I got off, and I was going to bed. All of a sudden, my door handle just started like my door as a whole was just violently shaking back and forth as if someone was trying to open my door. But the door was locked, which I don't have a lock on my door. Like they were like
Mm-hmm.
shaking my door as if they were like desperately trying to get in and break it down. And it happened for a good solid like 30 seconds. And it felt like an eternity. Just sitting there, it was just violently thrashing back and forth, rattling between like the I don't know if you can hear it. I'm gonna talk while I do
Yeah.
it. Kind of like when I'm talking.
Ugh.
Um
Yeah.
and it was doing that violently quick back and forth. If you couldn't hear it, it's just rocking back and forth.
Oh, I heard
Mm-hmm.
it.
But it was a very violent shake, and I just sat up in the corner of my bed. My heart was beating out of my chest, and I couldn't. And like I said, I was a very paranoid kid. My bed frame used to have a little bed in the frame where I would put my
Mm-hmm.
baseball bat to have a quick notice. Um, I looked there; it was gone.
Mm.
And I was like, huh, I don't remember where I put that. And then I noticed it was in the corner next to my door, leaning up against the edge of the door. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
well, shit. So I sat there for like 5 minutes waiting to die. I genuinely thought I didn't think it was a ghost. I thought someone was in my house and was about
Yeah.
to barge through that door and kill me. And then as this like 10-year-old kid, I got this moment of like, not dead yet, but my family's in the house. Like the fight or flight was coming off. The adrenaline was still going, but I was like, my family's in the house, and if they're upstairs already, my mom sleeps downstairs. My brother's right next to me. My dad's down the hall.
You thought, oh, your family's gone.
I'm like, if I haven't heard screams yet, so they might be alive still.
Mm.
So I
Ah.
grabbed my bat, stood behind the door for like a minute, hyped myself up, opened
Mm-hmm.
my door, and jumped out. I could hear my dad snoring down the hall. My brother was snoring in the room next to me. Both of them have their door open when they sleep. I have my door closed, just I like privacy. And my mom was downstairs snoring too. No, my dog wasn't even awake. Nobody heard that sound other than me. That
Damn.
door, it just never. It took me so long. I cleared the house. I genuinely walked around the house with a bat just to make sure that there was no one. I checked all the doors, the
Nice and
windows,
clear.
everything was locked. Nobody was in that house other than us.
Mhm.
Nobody woke up to it. I asked
You're
everyone in the
just
morning.
freaking out.
Nobody heard it.
Yeah.
And I was freaking out. Took me like a couple hours to fall asleep. And then I've always seen shadows in my life.
Mhm.
Like I'll be like I there was a whole point in my life where I was playing video games where I would be like you guys might have even been there for a couple of them. Where I would be like a long time ago when we were younger.
Yeah.
Where I was playing a game and I would hear a can. I used to drink so much soda. I'd have like a million cans in my room. And
Mhm.
I'd hear a can
Yeah.
in the background just violently be thrown across the room. And I'd be in the middle of the game, like, not right now, ghost. Like, kill me later. And
I
then,
actually think I was there for one of those.
yes,
I remember
that
that.
happened to me so often where things would just fall violently behind me. And then I would joke about it because I'm like, if it's a demon that wants to hurt me or scare me, then
Mhm.
there's two things. It's probably it's trying to scare me to feed off my energy of being scared. So
Yeah.
like if I give it the reaction it wants or I ignore it. Either way, like it's like I'm just gonna ignore it. If I die, I die. It's a demon. If it wants to
Die,
kill me,
die.
it's gonna kill me. So
Right.
if I freak
If you
out,
want to be bound to hell, you're gonna be bound to hell.
yeah, exactly. If
But
something's gonna kill me, it's gonna kill me. But if I'm gonna just take it and just roll with it, then and it stopped.
Get it
It
over with.
eventually stopped. Like all that kind of stuff
So,
stopped.
Ken, that means that when we come to Washington, bring a Ouija board, right?
Yeah, bring your Hasbro issued Ouija board as yeah, those motherfuckers making so much money off this
God, I know.
garbage. Like, yes, we are opening portals to hell. Come buy our Hasbro fucking Ouija boards.
That's
does
actually
Hasbro
crazy.
actually sell a Ouija board?
Yes,
Fuck yeah, they
they're
do.
the primary seller of Ouija boards in the world.
What the hell?
What?
They're the primary seller of Ouija board. Yeah, buy your pink bedazzled Ouija board from Hasbro today.
Fucking bet. I would buy that shit in a fucking heartbeat.
Hold on, no, I'm not kidding. Pink Hasbro
Ouija board.
Ouija board.
Dude,
Luigi board.
Luigi board? Can I get a limited edition Luigi?
I bet you there's a Mario themed fucking Ouija board
The
out there
cameras are about
somewhere.
to be broken for a second for the stream, but I'm gonna put
Right.
this in our chat for these guys to believe me.
Oh my god.
No. Actually, a pink
What?
bedazzled
I'm gonna
Luigi
go to
board.
screen share moment here. So if you're on the video version, you'll see what I'm talking about. This
I'll order that
is
shit on
the
Amazon.
Hasbro pink Ouija boards. Oh, it's on the wrong screen. Hold on.
Dude. Wow.
I will order that shit on Amazon and hope it gets here by the time.
Here we go. This is the pink Ouija boards that Hasbro and other companies sell. Yeah, it's sold at Toys R Us. In that photo.
Wait, there's still a Toys R Us?
No, but I mean, in that photo, it's sold
There
by
are a
Toys
couple
R Us.
left,
It's
yeah.
like, why, man? You're teaching kids how to summon demons.
That's fucking
Why
great.
not? Let's fucking do
Yeah,
it.
fuck them kids.
Oh
No,
God.
no, no.
Hold on
Okay,
a minute.
no.
All right, let's transition into the next.
All I'm saying is that not on Felix's point. That was just dumb. But all I'm saying is like, we've had a lot of kids go into like private schools for like Christian stuff. Why don't we just switch it up? Let's just give them all Ouija boards.
We just show up on a fucking private school
Oh
and
man,
we start handing Ouija boards out to little kids.
we should.
Come
There you
here,
go.
kids.
No, we know what
Oh.
we should do as a group. We should make these little pamphlets for a Satanist school and be like go around to neighborhoods and
God.
like hand them out and be like, hey, so you guys have heard of like of Catholic of
They'd be all
schools
for
for
it down in
kids,
California.
and then you're just like, well, we're opening up a new school for Satanists.
Oh, I'm not even talking about opening up a school. I'm literally just like, you know what? Let's take some government funding, give everybody a Ouija board in school. The teachers don't even have to do anything with it. Just give the kids one. They'll figure it out themselves.
Hey kids,
You
it's
know?
Hell Spawn 101.
Yep.
The kid that's always in the back just starts
it's
fucking
so
smoking
Most
easy,
with
efficient
even
way
your
eyes
to
in
kids
the
can
back
do
of
it.
his head, all contorted and shit.
All right, kids. In Anatomy 101, we're gonna teach you how to slaughter your sacrifice the most efficient way possible.
Now, lambs are the most used and most common.
But for today, who's
We're
a
We have
going to
Jeremy,
use the duck.
who's a virgin.
Jeremy.
I would hope all of you are.
I
Everyone's
mean,
like
Jeremy.
pointing at
Jeremy's good.
Jeremy.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next trivia
All
because
right.
we've kind of gotten some weird sidetracks, which is really nice. It's been pretty good. But so this trivia is gonna be about another
Mhm.
very common.
We've only
I
got
wanna
like
see-
10
can
more
anyone
minutes of this.
guess what the most like famous conspiracy is in America? Real quick.
Um,
Most
oh, there's a
famous?
lot. Is it
In America.
crop circles?
Nope, it's the moon landing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the percentage of Americans that still believe the moon landing was fake? Is it 1
Oh.
3%, 2 6%, or 3%?
10.
6.
And this number actually used to be way higher. I think it was almost
I was gonna
20.
say, I think I remember
It was
it being
almost
higher.
20% at one point, but today in a recent poll,
Sheesh.
what is it now? 3, 6, or 10?
I think it's
Yeah,
10.
maybe 10. I think I might have to go with 10.
And this is, I think, still
I'm
the
Still thinking a 10.
this
Yeah.
is, I think, still the most prominent. So even though these numbers are pretty small, you still have to consider that we have a population of 300 million.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, guys, what do you guys think? 10?
I'm saying 10.
I
I
say
think
10.
I know it
10.
used to be more.
Everyone's saying 10. It's actually only
Is it
6.
6?
As a
Okay.
recent study, 6% of Americans, about 20 million people, still believe the moon landing was fake today.
That's not
Just
too bad, at
To
least.
some extent. That's 20
That's
million
not
people.
too bad.
That's not bad, though, because think about it. There's 7 billion people in the world. 20 million people in the U.S. out of
okay.
300 million believe that. That's not too bad.
I understand 20 million out of 300 million, but fuck the other 7, billion or whatever, because they don't care about Americans' conspiracies. They barely care about
Right.
America as it is. But like of the 300 million people or so we have,
Yeah.
20 of those idiots think, or 20 million of those idiots are like, hey, we didn't go on the moon. Like I don't understand that. I understand it was like almost, it was 40% at some point a while, like a couple years, or not 40, like 20% a while ago. But like that's, come on.
Okay, so here's my question. Let me build onto that trivia a bit and kind of into the topic properly. Do you guys think that we went to the moon during the first landing, or do you think we faked the first landing and then went to the moon just to be the cosmonauts?
I think we made it. I think we made it to the moon.
You think
Yeah,
so?
I think we made it in the first
I
one.
mean, you literally, the amount of things you'd have to fake in like the ways they did, like would have had to do it, are just physically impossible.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
because you can claim like the shadows that which they had on the
Mhm.
pictures were all linear, and the only way you could do that is with a straight on source, which would be the sun. And the problem is, there's no way they could have done like that in a studio, because it required linear light. If you use a stand light, it would be like, a like a, you'd have multiple shadows if you use multiple
Right.
stand lights, but you also have shadows that were not linear, because
Right.
the light source is really close, and there's no way you could do it without using like lasers, which weren't even like that readily available in that much, like in that amount. It would have cost more to fake it than it would have been actually just put the man on the goddamn moon. So
Yeah.
Question.
Hmm.
What if a group of people was able to fake the moon landing with the technology that was available back in that day?
show me it.
It would have been.
I'm not saying they have, but there's a group that's working on it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, and they can keep working on it. It's just like the guy that wanted to, like, flat earther, who wanted to prove the flat Earth was flat, shot himself in a homemade rocket into the stratosphere. His
Oh, there's not
GoPro,
only that guy.
his
There's
GoPro
also-
showed that
yeah.
the Earth was round, and then died on impact on the way down.
There was also the guy that
I
was using the light measurement. So you
Oh,
had
yeah.
you had the one telescope or something like that on one side, and then a certain distance where a curve would supposed to start, or not supposedly, it's supposed to start, would be there, and they thought, oh, they're gonna be on the same level because we're flat, and they proved that they're not on the same level because there's a fucking curve in the Earth.
No, yeah, it was across a lake. What they did is they
Yeah.
had these two card or no, these two wood like boards, and they'd cut a hole in it on both of them. And if
Yeah.
you were on both ends of that board on this like X amount of distance, and you shine a light through the first hole, since there's a curve, it wouldn't line up with the second hole, um, because they're so far away.
Mhm.
But if it was flat, it would. But if it was a curve, it wouldn't. So
Yep.
they said, so if the guy holds up the light at this height, and it's flat, you should be able to see it through. But if he holds it above his head, you'll see it through both of them. And he held it above his head. And no, he didn't. He had it at the normal height, and it didn't work. And then he's like, "Okay, now hold it over your head." And they held it over his head, and it worked. And they're like, "Oh,
My
shit."
favorite thing about
They
that dude
proved
too is
themselves
even
wrong.
after he proved it, the dude was like, "Oh, it's inconclusive."
Yeah, I know. He proves
It's
himself wrong. He's like,
plausible
it's
at best. I've watched
still
Mythbusters.
possible.
It's not. It's not. It's not proven to be
Mhm.
fake. It's just plausible.
No, I love that. The ice walls, the
Oh man.
flying disc in space. Every other planet is a sphere except for us. We're a
Oh,
dome.
there we go. That's okay. So here's a conspiracy I do kind of believe in.
What's
So
that?
you know how we talked about how we were all like pretty set on the fact that maybe they did. At least I think aliens at one point did visit Earth.
Yeah.
Maybe not like in the way that everyone thinks, but I think that they did.
Mhm.
I also think that when that happened, we were infected with some species and parasites from them because obviously, you're not gonna be completely your spaceship's not gonna be fucking disinfected. I do think that there are things in our ocean and stuff like that that are not from Earth. And not only from that kind of stuff, also from like meteors and shit like that. And the biggest one is the sea pig. Or it's not called the sea pig, the uh I can't remember the actual name for it. People call it like a sea pig and stuff. It's this little microscopic organism that can survive all
Oh, yeah.
elements. Heat,
Um,
cold, everything, and it could survive for thousands of years without eating and just fucking sitting in like molten lava, essentially. And that's just one example. And scientists are starting to believe this isn't from our planet.
scotoplanes.
Mm.
Are they called
Um,
scotoplanes?
what's the hold on. There's another one. It's a tardigrade, the most
That might
indestructible
be what I'm thinking
organism
about.
on tardigrades, also known
Yeah,
as
a
water
tardigrade.
bears, are
Water bear,
microscopic
that's what it is.
creatures that
Water
are
bear.
nearly
Yep.
indestructible. They live everywhere from the tops of mountains to the bottom of the sea, even in outer
Yep.
space. They grow to
A
be around
sea bear?
0.5 millimeter and
A
4
sea
pairs of
bears.
legs.
Quick.
Tardigrades are either plant eaters or bacteria eaters, but are some to be found carnivorous since they eat other smaller
must have-
tardigrades. Um, Tardigrades have a protein that acts as a radiation shield.
Mhm.
Same protein has inserted into human cells. It's found that damage done to human DNA by X-rays were reduced by 40%.
Yep. So
So
I do
yes,
think that there are living organisms on this planet that are not originated from this planet.
I mean it could also just be the tardigrade. It might have been one of the first organisms to ever exist. It was so good at what it did, it didn't need
Right.
to evolve much, but it might have,
Possibly.
because we were just a huge ball of impossible chemical soup, fire, lava,
Right.
water, everything. Like nothing should have lived here. I mean,
There's
am-
also the theory though that we did not originate from the Earth either.
what, humans or
Yeah.
just or
There's a
life
theory
in
that
general?
humans. So there's a theory that we came as organisms on a meteorite, like live organisms we've seen on meteorites before that, died on impact after hitting the Earth, but we didn't die, and we kind of just are an invasive species to the planet.
I doubt that, but I do think there. I mean, humans have an evolutionary chain that can be relatively tracked back. There is a gap, but I mean, for the most part, we can track back.
Right.
We still share DNA with what nine like with all
Hmm.
all life on Earth shares like what like a 50% DNA or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't think we came out of nowhere.
Right.
But there is a theory that I've heard that aliens came by one day and chose like a dominant species to
Yeah, and
take
bred,
over.
and we're like mutations of it, basically.
Either they physically bred with them, or they injected DNA material to heighten their evolutionary process.
Yeah, I think the theory is called like the dying species theory or something like that, or dying civilization or something like that.
Oh, but any other conspiracies or mysteries? Anything you guys want to talk about real quick? Start wrapping this up here soon.
I got a few more, but I don't think we got time for it, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
Just
I'm not sure.
throw
Yeah.
one out there real quick, just so we get a quick last one.
You guys?
Yeah.
I'm
Got one,
saying
Phil?
you guys got one,
No.
Dave?
Um, actually, the back rooms, I think they're real.
You think the
Think
vacuums
so?
Yeah, as part of like a sub
cover up?
theory with the Matrix stuff. There's
Okay.
like, because like I don't think that the Matrix like straight up glitches out and it's like, oh shit, like bro, why'd that go fizzy or anything? I don't think that's what happens. I do believe that like in a world where everything is simulated, there's still a lot of things that this quote unquote simulation doesn't expect you to like see yet at a certain time, or you'll probably still do certain things out of the order that it wants you to. So eventually you'll come up upon something that just you feel like it's not finished. It's like it's there. You're in a room, but does it really have a purpose? Did it ever have one?
Right.
I don't know. And everything just looks off. It's like
Uncanny Valley.
it's
You,
yeah,
you
like it doesn't feel like this room being used. Like it just exists and you're like it just gives off that weird vibe.
Right.
you don't
I feel like
necessarily think that the backrooms as modern media. Just think that there is possible. There's like almost like when you no clip out of a war.
And you see those test
It's like
areas.
it's just that like skybox clear kind of, or just anything like that where it's like that area you're not supposed to see a reality.
yeah, pretty much. Like if you enter a Gmod sandbox or a Fallout like dev room or something like that. Have you
Right.
seen like the Fallout 4 or like the
Yeah.
Fallout New Vegas dev rooms? Like those things are like actually like why do they look like you're in hell?
Mhm.
That'd be interesting
Like
though, just to think conceptually what a IRL or like a real dev box would, every atom,
um
every possible chemical, every possible combination,
Yeah.
I
like
feel
all
like
of that. Holy
It's
crap!
it's the white
I
room
feel
that
like
Scooby
you
Doo
would
got sent
it'd
to.
just be I don't even know what that'd be like to be honest.
So I don't even
I
know
feel like at
about
that
like.
point you're just taking a lot of coke and
Mhm.
you're just like,
Right.
what am I watching?
You're just
So like I
laying
don't
on
know
the floor
about.
with your arms up, flailing like I'm falling, and you land. You're like, oh god, I'm in the back rooms. Oh no, where am I?
So I don't know like about a
It's like that
backrooms
one.
thing.
Back
Go
room
on.
scene.
Go ahead.
No, go on.
I was gonna say I don't know about like a backrooms thing, but a bunch of scientists do think it's do believe it's theoretically possible for um your atoms to phase with each other. So like that whole thing, if you were to punch a wall 1,000 times, there's like a 0.7% chance that your hand could partially go through it. The thing people don't think about with that though is if it did, your fucking hand would be bleeding and you'd be in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't
I
that like
That's
mean,
the
it's
the
gonna be
first layer of
bleeding
that.
and a lot of pain after like the 15th hit at most. So
isn't that like
like,
the huge statistical probability that all the atoms will with each other, and you'll
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah,
because there's so much empty space between atoms, like
Yep.
at that tiny
It's
nanoscopic
really
level.
it's very 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 unlikely, but scientists, I mean, because with the atom splitter knives that we have, like with the little knives that people cut atoms with, they've started to fuck with it, and they believe that there's a very small chance that you could do that, but obviously, yeah,
That is such a statistically impossible.
absolutely, yeah,
Like,
It does say here from 2013 though that from quantum mechanics they are claiming it is possible, but very, very, very unlikely. And you'll probably have to wait a very, very, very long time for it to happen. But it is possible for like the tunnel of void between your atoms, and like say like when you're
Mhm.
sitting with like the fist in the wall,
Yeah,
you could theoretically and go through it, go through those holes.
Let's be honest too. Who else? Because I know I am. Who else gets skeptical as fuck whenever anybody says, "Oh, quantum mechanics, quantum engineering, blah,"
Yeah,
before
yeah.
stating something that they say is scientific?
Yeah, they should have done. I mean, a lot of science fiction writers write a lot of shit when it's like, how do I
Yeah,
explain this? Quantum
quantum.
theory.
Quantum
Like,
Like, they don't even know what quantum theory actually is.
yeah, and it's like
Do
quantum
research into
enlargement,
it. Anytime someone thinks about it, it's like they say anything about it, it's just false.
quantum colors, the quantum cans, just quantum anything,
What?
I mean, they just throw like sci-fi
They
writers just
slap a
write
name on
quantum
everything.
anything,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah,
whenever an
quantum
actual scientist
LEDs.
does something that's actually quantum X or whatever it is, everyone's like, that's not real. No, I mean, yeah, I kind of ruined that, but
No, you're right. I mean, they kind of blow it up too much. Like even at my work, we have so many times where people are just like, "Oh, what does QLED mean?" And I have to say, it's like, well, they call it quantum LED.
It's not quantum.
No, it's not.
LED.
No. Oh
My
yeah, quantum
LEDs are
dot.
green and blue at the same time
What?
in different
Quantum dot
points.
I didn't know it. Okay, quantum dot display.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at what
Yeah, they
is
call them a quantum dot display or quantum.
I knew OLED was organic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well,
Anyway, though, yeah, we should probably wrap this one up.
I think we're gonna wrap this
Yeah.
up.
Yep.
Thank you for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys will keep your eyes out for any conspiracies or mysteries in your own daily lives. See if there's anything that catches your eye, things that the government might be lying to you about, mysteries that are unsolved or ongoing, conspiracies of most mundane to the most insane. I'll see you guys and everyone else next podcast next week.
Bye.
A good one.
The Oh, you
All
turned
right.
your camera off.
Intro. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
He died.
Come on. There we go.
There we
You
go.
know, hold on. On for you.
I'm so quirky.
Oh, okay, cool. So, welcome back for the YouTube portion, the last trivia we're going to have. This trivia is, again, conspiracy based, and we're going to one that, and only that people are. This one actually existed for a very brief amount of time, but it's history, or at least its name, is used synonymously all the time. And my bad. Trivia question: when was the Illuminati created?
That was if
So-
I. Oh,
so the
sorry. Yeah, you have
options-
answers. Never mind.
The options. Actually, let's hear your thought process before I give you the options, just so I can see how close you might be.
I've gone on a delve in this shit before, dude, because
Okay.
I've always been interested in secret societies. If I remember correctly, because they were before the Freemasons, I believe the Illuminati Society, when it actually existed. Oh no! Wait! Were they the ones that was built after the U.S. came into?
Okay,
It's been a while.
I'll
I
give
think
him.
they were even president before the U.S.
I'll give him a second. And the options we have are 1, 1776, 2, 1562, and 3, 1357.
Not that old, I don't think. I'm gonna go 17.
So we have one option for 1776,
I vote option 2.
one's for 52, and
I'm trying to remember, because I've gone on such a fucking deep rabbit hole.
well,
with this shit.
here's a really quick tidbit. The Illuminati were not created in.
No, they were not.
But I'm not giving you. They were not created in.
No. I'm pretty sure it was 1776, actually, around when the U.S. Constitution
so-
came in and such.
We have Felix,
Right?
Yep.
Dave going.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The answer